if you really want to have a good range day, you shouldn't spend the entire range day doing like, 5 to 10 drills. So if I come out here and I'm doing like 3-4 drills, so I might only get, a couple reps at each one. Whereas if I just say, I'm just going to do bill drill and first round of the holster today, you can probably get a pretty good amount of reps on those where I can actually see some significant difference. What is up, YouTube? So this past week has been pretty freaking busy in terms of life. That's why I haven't been posting. Got a new job. The training schedule is now going to change a little bit. So instead of doing our training at night or in the middle of the day, which has kind of been the norm, we are now starting to do training in the morning. And the main reason for this is just the new job. And so we got to be able to fit in some live fire training. So the goal here is that we're recording 3 times a week and posting 3 times a week, and the times for that will be Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday that stuff is getting posted. I actually had a full video that I recorded on Monday ready to be posted on Wednesday, and when I went to go and edit it and schedule a post, I noticed that the only part of it that had audio was the final or the first clip. So didn't end up posting it. So today we're gonna go out there and do a similar training to what we did before and see if we can get some value out of it. I'm working on a cool little video right now too. So basically for the past 2 weeks I've been doing private lessons with an individual, and for now it's just pistol. And basically he's starting from, like, just in terms of drawing his gun and getting around in the A zone from 10 yards out, he's already cut his time in half. So super impressed with that. Today we're going to be here, we're going to be mainly doing some hard skill stuff, even though today is actually like not a hard skills day. But I just really want to do some bill drill today, get my bill drill feeling a little bit smoother. I kind of want to stick to this belief I have, which is that, like, if you really want to have a good range day, you shouldn't spend the entire range day doing like, 5 to 10 drills, depending on how much time you have. Like right now, realistically, I have like just over an hour to be here at the range. So if I come out here and I'm doing like 3-4 drills, so I might only get, a couple reps at each one. Whereas if I just say, I'm just going to do bill drill and first round of the holster today, you can probably get a pretty good amount of reps on those where I can actually see some significant difference. It's like working out at the gym. You show up to the gym and you have an hour and you do a full body exercise. It's like, yeah, you're going to burn some calories and it'll help you get in shape. But if instead you spent that entire hour working your legs or your chest, now that specific muscle is going to grow so much more than if you just spent 10-15 minutes during that hour doing it during your full body. So yeah, let's get after it. First drill we're doing today is first round from the holster. We're going to rep this about 20 times. Just make sure our draw and grip are consistent and durable and feel good. And then we're going to just jump straight into the accelerator drill. I think is what it's called. We're starting from like a full presentation, and we'll shoot 1 round, buzzer goes off, 2 rounds, buzzer goes off, 3 rounds, 4, 5, and then 6. And the goal is that we're practicing our predictive shooting, and we're ensuring that our vision is good enough that our dot is going straight up and down, right back onto that pasty exactly where we want it. I think it's a really good warm-up drill for bill drill, which is what we'll spend the remainder of the day doing. Just working on that bill drill, making sure that we're getting close to or sub 2 seconds at the 10-yard line. I'm going to shoot the drill, and then I'll pick up the camera. I'm going to show you guys the target, and then we'll talk a little bit about it after, maybe even talk about it during. One of the things I noticed earlier this week is, since I'm doing it in the morning, it's like 40 degrees outside, so it's pretty chilly. I could just already feel it in my hands when I was doing this, so hopefully this is a good warm-up. So 10-yard line, do about 20 reps of this just to get a good warm-up in. Dot focus there. Through that one to the right. High. High. Fumbled a little bad on that last one. So right now we're averaging about 115. We had a couple that we threw high into the right, which we can talk about here for a sec, because here's a target. So like I said, we're averaging about 110, 115 right now. These all right here, these ones, I did not get a super good confirmation on my shot. Like these ones right here, pretty much all of these, I saw some sort of flash of red when I took the shot. Whereas these ones, I think I was just rushing the shot a little bit too much on my draw, and naturally I'm going a little high and right. I started thinking after that, like drive my elbows down a little bit. This is all just a vision problem. This is me not staying focused here, because if I was 100% focused on here, it would have been, you know, stacking up similar to kind of how these ones are. So at least in my own evaluation, I think my grip was fine. I think everything was fine. It was just something wrong with my initial index and something wrong with my initial vision. Figure I'd make this quick side note. This is the first time I'm training live fire with tape over the optic. You know, my dry fire, I'm exclusively doing this now, but this is the first time I've done this live fire, so I'm actually really enjoying it. Basically, the benefit, if you don't know why, you know, you do this, is that if I present this gun and I'm looking at my target, staying focused on the pasty, then I can still see my dot on the target. But if I focus on my dot, the tape covers up my target and I can no longer see the target or the pasty. So that's kind of the idea. It's getting that immediate feedback when your eyes are no longer focused on the pasty and are focused here on your dot instead. So let's go back to the 10. We're gonna do this accelerator drill now. Little bit of grip there. Just show you guys the target again. So the whole point of this drill is that, one, it's a good drill to figure out what your grip is and where your grip is at for the day, but also how focused are you staying on the pasty. So what I'm seeing when I'm doing this drill, especially when I start getting to these like 4, 5, and 6 rounds, where I'm pulling that trigger as fast as I can, what I'm essentially seeing that dot do is this. Okay, I'm not trying to control the recoil in the sense that I just want the dot staying right here. If I try to control the recoil too much with my hands, what I'm going to inevitably end up doing is cranking down on the gun and forcing shots to go low, which is probably what was happening here, is I was getting some sort of visual feedback that was making me believe I needed to drive the gun down. I'm okay with the dot moving. There's nothing that I can do that's going to make this gun not recoil. The gun is going to kick up in some sort of way, but as long as my grip is strong, repeatable, and durable, I'm okay allowing the gun to do this as long as it's going straight up and straight down. What I don't want to see is the gun going like this, or the gun going like this, or like this, or like that. Okay? So as long as I'm getting straight up and down, I can lock this in and get these groups tighter, but what I can't do is control the recoil completely. All right, let's run this accelerator drill one more time. That one was all alphas, but I definitely wasn't pulling the trigger as fast as I could have early on. So we're gonna try to pick up the speed a little bit right now. The Charlies that were on there before were from that first round out of the holster drill. So here we go. Go faster than that. Gonna wake up the whole freaking neighborhood. Show you target again real quick. Again, this was all alphas, but I really didn't feel like I was pushing as fast as I could have there. How fast I was pulling the trigger finger, but I did definitely, like if you compare this to the last one, my group is a lot more tighter here. There was still a couple, but my last one I was all over the place. This one you can definitely tell majority of my shots are right here, and it did feel better with my grip. What I'm really trying to focus on right now with my just presentation of the gun, here I'll flip the camera around so I can show you guys like this. So what I've been doing, or making sure I'm doing, is when I'm presenting this pistol, it's very natural to want to go like this and bring my elbows and my shoulders up towards my ear. What I found is not only do I get really tired and worn out when I do that, especially on these longer range days, but I'm not as good at getting my dot every single time. Now what I'm trying to do is when I do this presentation, I'm driving my elbows to the ground and thinking of the way that that's creating pressure on the back strap of my pistol. So I'm driving my elbows down, and then you've heard it before, but kind of locking my lats down too, like flexing my lats a little bit. So I'm here and I'm bringing that gun to my eyes. And this to me feels so much more consistent and repeatable than like this does. All right, we got bill drill next. I'm gonna pasty out the target, just get all the Charlies taken care of. I'm not super concerned about the alphas for today. And our goal here is to get sub 2 or as close to sub 2 as possible, and then be thinking about what it is that's causing us to get this sub 2. Because it's one thing to just pull my gun out, pull 6 shots off and be lucky that they're all in the A zone. It's another thing to like actively be thinking about what I did to make that possible, or did I have accountability of where these shots were going, or was it just all luck, et cetera, et cetera. So it's also gonna be the first time I'm trying to get sub 2 with the tape on the optic, which to me, I don't think it should really change anything, but it's just, again, that visual awareness that I am staying focused on the target. Trigger freeze got me there. So I rushed it. My goal when I'm doing the bill drill is get a level of confirmation on my first shot, and then the rest of it is predictable shooting. Like I am trusting that because my grip is solid and my vision is solid, that if I continue to pull this trigger as fast as I can, the shots are gonna go where I want them to. Now, something that's interesting is that first level of confirmation. If it's not super good, then in my eyes, I end up throwing. So here, I'll zoom in a little bit on the target. I was clean until this last rep that I did, okay? And what happened on this last rep is this. My first confirmation was right here. And so I pulled the trigger. I should have corrected. It was a vision problem, obviously, but I should have corrected to have it be here in the center. I pull the trigger here, my gun recoils, and because I'm trying to pull the trigger as fast as I can, I throw these next 3 rounds. I notice what's going on right here. I overcorrect, I put physical input into the gun to overcorrect, and I move it right there. It was just a bad run, all in all. This round was when I had 1 round left in the chamber. I just shot it at the head. Other than that, though, what is that? That was four reps of bill drill, and so far only the last ones, alphas. Our average time right now is about 2:20. So we're gonna try to cut down these 2 second, or these 0.2 of a second, and see if we can get near that 10 or that sub 2 second mark. The main thing I'm noticing that's probably eating into my time is getting that first round on the target, and then just the speed that I'm pulling the trigger. Like, I don't, it might be because my hands are cold today, or because I just haven't been doing the bill drill that often. but my trigger squeeze is not as fast as I can. I notice it. I get that first round out and I'm just like bang, bang, bang. It's like very nonchalant. Be actually thinking about like flicking that booger when I'm pulling the trigger. So I'm not just, you know, pulling and then riding the trigger to the reset, but I'm actually pulling gun cycles, flicking my finger off and getting back on the wall. And obviously, like in this drill, I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm pulling the trigger, getting back on the wall and squeeze, 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 and it cracks off. When I'm doing this drill, I'm literally just going like as fast as I can. But flicking that booger is what keeps my shot a lot faster. It forces me to loosen my grip on my dominant hand, and then it allows me to just get that reset as soon as possible if I just go flick, flick, flick. So don't ride the trigger. If you're trying to shoot fast, don't ride the trigger back to the wall. Just flick your finger off and get right back on that trigger as fast as possible. 2 more reps. Right now we've got 4 Charlies because I didn't pasty it up. My grip was bad on that one, and we threw one. We threw 2. Trigger freeze. I'm gonna pasty this up and go reload. All right, we're gonna get 6 more reps of this, maybe some more after that, and then we're gonna call it quits. Not the longest training day, but what matters is we got out here and we did it. Definitely looking forward to some warmer days here in southern Idaho. I'm not gonna blame the cold because when I was hitting sub 2 seconds, you know, which I've posted on my Instagram, it was not like the warmest temperature outside, if I remember correctly. No excuses. I'm averaging about 220 right now clean. We're gonna pick up the pace a little bit and see if maybe we can get this just slightly higher. Really bad confirmation, really bad. I saw the dot go high and I just kept cranking them. So we got like half of those. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those right here in the neck. So we dry fire this a few times. All right, here we go. Gosh dang it. That would have been a good one. That was only a 5-rounder because I shot one earlier. That was a 187 clean. But let me show you guys this. All right. I'm always honest with my targets. You guys know that. So the one that I threw that first round and then just all of them were here high, I threw that one and then went 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then this one, and this one were all from separate reps. 2 of them were from the same rep. That was by itself. That was the 1-rounder that I just shot at the head. And then these 2 were from that last rep. At the end of the day, you know, sometimes you come out here and you hit all your goals and you have really good results on target. Sometimes you come out here and you're a little chilly, you're a little tired, and it's not as good as you want it to be. But what matters is you get out and you train. Really what this is telling me right now is that I need to start doing some more build drill in my dry fire. The main thing holding me back is the speed at which I'm pulling the trigger and resetting the trigger, and then getting that first round where I want it consistently. Because right now, if I stay at that 220 pace, I can clean this every single time, and that first round is right where I want it. If I pick up the pace, that first round is always going high and kind of drives the remainder of my rounds to go high as well. So just something that I need to be thinking about as I'm doing my dry fire. Other than that, I think we're going to call it there. I've got some more content that's going to be coming out soon. The scoped carbine stuff is super popular, just in terms of that video hitting such high numbers. So I definitely want to make some more scoped carbine stuff for you guys. I'm planning on showing you guys belt setup. I've got some videos coming out for the M&P 2.0 competitor, and I've got some other things that I've laid out. Some Kestrel stuff I know was asked for, and then just some regular carbine training. We're gonna kind of just get a bunch of stuff put out, but like I said, this week has been a little hectic just with the new job and everything. So, and then I'm also leaving out of town on Thursday night. So while I'm down there, I'm going to try to make some of like maybe some of the easier content. I don't need no some of the easier content I don't need to be at the range for, you know, something like the Kestrel, maybe some dry fire stuff. And then post that, when I get back up here, is when I'll start doing some more of the like SPR stuff. I'm gonna try and make it down this hill without this camera falling down, because I have the camera balancing on a shooting bag right now. One thing I was thinking about though, as I was cleaning up, let me just make sure these are off, is you know, you got good days and you have bad days training. And not that today was a bad day of training, but I didn't come out here and hit the numbers that I thought I was gonna hit, which makes sense because my dry fire has not been as deliberate as it should be. Another thing that I should be taking into account here is like other potential variables. So like, what do I mean by that? Usually when I train, it was in the afternoon, evening time frame. It's warm outside. I was usually, you know, warm enough that I was getting a sweat on when I was training. Another variable is that usually when I go to the range, I've got some form of caffeine with me, whether that's an energy drink before. There's usually something in my system. So could that be a variable? Something that's, you know, because we're talking, when we're shooting, we're talking about tenths of seconds. You know, it would be different if it was longer than that. And so part of me just wonders, is that a factor? I don't think it should be a major factor, but again, if we're talking in tenths of a second, it feels like it could be a factor. So maybe that would be an interesting experiment to see, like, you know, if I have caffeine in my system, what happens? I wonder how we would actually train that. You would have to not know if you are drinking caffeine or not. So like, somebody gives you something that either has caffeine in it or doesn't, but you don't know. You take it, you go to the range, and you try to perform. You try to keep all the other variables the same. When you're going to the range, what the temperature is when you're going to the range, how you feel when you go to the range. And then you know, have somebody like my wife give me a drink, and she doesn't tell me if this one has it or doesn't have it. And I don't know what the drink is, you know, because we live in Idaho, so there's all these freaking fancy little soda places you can go to. And then see if my numbers change at all. And then, you know, when the test is over, she tells me, you know, yeah, hey, day 1, I did give you caffeine. Day 2, no, whatever. It would just be an interesting thing, you know. Like I said, I don't think it would change my numbers that much, but it would just be something. Another thing that I was thinking about too is like, you know, especially on these days where you're going to the range a little bit earlier, it's kind of chilly outside, you're not hitting the same numbers that you thought you were going to be hitting for whatever reason. Again, whether it's because you're cold or not awake or whatever, you really got to know why you're coming out here. And so obviously, like, this series is my attempt at trying to get Grandmaster in under a year, which is cool and all, but that's really not like why I'm out here. Why I'm out here is because, like, I truly believe that if I can hit that goal of like Grandmaster, what that means to me is that, like, I am in the top 1% of shooters in the world in terms of pistol shooting. And so I can protect my family better with a pistol, which is what I'm carrying around every single day when I'm out with my family. So, like, would I love to train SPR every single day when I go out and train? Sure, yeah, absolutely. But that's not a weapon system that I carry around with me everywhere I go. That's not a weapon system that is cheap to shoot either. Not that 9mm is cheap either, but it's definitely cheaper than 223, 5.56. So that's just something to think about. Like, why are you actually out here training? You know, is it because you just want to be a better competitive shooter? Good. If that's your why, then think about that when it's time to get out and go and train, when it's time to go and do your dry fire. If it's because, oh my gosh, that sounds bright. If your why is, you know, because you want to be a protector, then go do that. If your why is because you want to feel like you're a badass, then make that your thing and then go and train. But if you don't have a why, if you're just doing it to do it, you're not going to be able to find enough inside of you when it's time to go and dry fire at 11:30 at night, and you haven't dry fired for a couple days, and you're like, oh, I'd rather be in bed sleeping. It's like, no, just go put on your freaking pants and belt and go downstairs and do some dry fire. All right, guys, thank you for watching another one of these little training vlogs. Like I said, stay tuned on the channel here. If you subscribe, and then I think if you hit that notification bell, it'll notify you when I put more content out. So there's going to be some shorts this week about Kestrels, and potentially some long form videos about like my belt setup. And then when I get back from being gone this weekend, there's going to be some more training videos next week, now that we got the whole camera situation figured out, the whole microphone situation figured out. Peace out, guys.